AI stocks were clobbered today as the semiconductors lost about 4.5% here, with the triple Qs down nearly 2% on the day. The rest of the market did fare okay, and the Dow closed at a new all time high. We did come off the lows by the end of the session. There's a lot to kind of unpack here, and I'll do my best to explain it as much as I can here, as well as I know. And if you follow the main channel, Carnivore Trades, I did talk about this a little bit in the morning short video. So that's on this channel here. But basically, we're seeing a little unwind in the carry trade. And we have talked about this a little bit. You can see the yen up 1%, which is a really big move for a currency. This is Forex related, but I'm going to say the same thing I've talked about earlier this week and kind of last week. I don't think this is a real structural issue for the market right now. Could it be? It's possible, but there has been a lot, and I've talked about this a lot, but this is telegraphed. And, even Zero Hedge reporting on it, this has been telegraphed for weeks here. That this is gonna, be a thing. They're gonna kind of, they're not gonna guide as much as like when they're gonna intervene. So they're gonna do that to kind of keep shorts on their toes. And what that is, essentially means is, they're gonna try and defend their currency here, which unwinds that carry. The reason I don't think it's that big of an issue is, again, like I've just said, they're telegraphing it. It's not coming out of left field. And if you look at semiconductors right now, like this has kind of been like they've already been degrossed a little bit. They have been degrossing. Look at the volume here, on SMH, on SOX, DRAM. This is basically where it was at in May, right? SMH definitely is. So there has been a little bit of profit taking already. And we talked about rotation, right? End of quarter, and how that would affect things here. Leverage works both ways, right? And again, if they're getting ahead of this, and if it's coordinated with the U.S., which it is, they're not going to do something that's going to deliberately crash the market. But if they're getting ahead of it, that is a good sign. But they're getting ahead of it in more than one way, right? So everybody thinks of like, oh, leverage unwind, that means crash, right? Leverage works both ways, right? What is leveraged long right now? Chips, memory. What's leveraged short though, right? Mags, to a lesser degree, the Mags, the ETF here, but Microsoft specifically, cloud software specifically. What else was up big today when the market was down? And what else closed up big today that is heavily leveraged short and heavily aided? Bitcoin, right? And I think to give Zero Hedge credit here, I don't have it right in front of me, but I might have retweeted it. But basically, they're kind of, I think they're onto something when it's like Bitcoin is looking for, Bitcoin wants the Kospi to come in, right? I mean, look at the Kospi here. It's basically the same chart as SMH or DRAM, but you have those like three pivots to a high. And you look at Bitcoin, it's basically like inverted, right? The three pivots to a low, and it's getting a bounce now. Right? What was our thesis going into this week, right? Everything else will rally except chips. IYR, again, another big move here, up 1.25. On the verge of a weekly breakout. XLF, massive move, up 1.3. KRE was down. It came off the lows here, but that's a new weekly all-time closing high any way you look at it. XLV, new weekly all-time closing high, right? Anything that was hated got bids. Netflix, right? So the leverage can unwind both ways, and that's part of the dispersion trade too. I'll say this about the dispersion trade while we're at it. Something for the bears here is that you do have correlation at a, it's basically at a, low going back to 2020, going back to the carry trade unwind. So that's where it essentially closed here this week. So the correlation breaking down, historically that has preceded pullbacks. Not right away. Sometimes it takes a few weeks, but that is something to just consider. I would say right now, if you're looking to hedge, I think volatility is not bad here. But I think today was a little bit, there's a lot to unpack. But, again, with the non-farm payroll number, we had that gap up. And, again, in the morning live stream on Carnivore Trades, we talked about, it's kind of a little bit of a red flag that we didn't make a new high on an NFP pump. But I said we could easily just pull back and then make a new one, right after, which we did. We didn't quite get to where I was looking for. I was looking for 75.50 SPX. We didn't quite get there before we rolled over. But nonetheless, it did come back in and we closed flat on the day. This is basically, I was joking about this too. Like, this is basically like a criminal offense here. Right? America's 250 years old and they can't get us to. But, notice how Trump, I'm talking about, is going to have his cake and eat it too, because the Dow closed at a new all time high. So he can just say, oh, the Dow closed at a new all time high, even though everything else got hammered, or I should say chips specifically got hammered. And again, another thing too, 353 advancers. Right, in a flat tape. That's a pretty good pop there for the McClellan. So we'll see what happens next week. Historically, the last day before we get into that Vanna Charn kind of like pre-OPEX week time, which is next week. Historically, those Fridays can be a little volatile, and we saw that today. But we came off the lows. Another thing too, I would just say psychologically, there definitely was some complacency going into today. That's why I wasn't as gung-ho this morning about the market. And it's also why I talked about, like, I kind of wish we had just gone down yesterday and hit this to get a third hit. But psychologically, though, I don't think you wanted, if you're a bear, I don't think you wanted us to, they made it tough because they popped us before the close, but I don't think you wanted us to barf in front of the weekend because you had the complacency. There definitely was some going into the 3-day week, which I mean, like, it's warranted, right? I mean, you never short a dull market, right? Especially not into a holiday, especially not it only happens one time, right? The 250th birthday of America. This is a historically massively bullish seasonal time frame, right? So I get the complacency, but there was some. I think the best thing for bears here would have been, and again, who knows, maybe we crash Monday, like YouTube tells me. But I think the best thing would have been, like, you go up here, you just kind of put like a rolling, kind of like lazy top in, and not a hard sell or anything, but you just kind of close back at like just below yesterday's high or something like that. I think you'd have massive complacency into the weekend, and they could just gap this down if they wanted to do some damage. But I think it's like you kind of front ran it too much here. There's already a little bit of fear going into that. But nonetheless, at the end of the day, SMH held its 50-day. This is losing momentum, though. I mean, there's definitely like no doubt about that. So you now have lower highs and lower lows confirmed. SOX, same thing. I got to talk about this DRAL. They always do this crap, right? Because we need a 2x long memory ETF, right? But yeah, 625, right? So there's your high, the 22nd. The gap up the day that goes live, and it's down what 50% now, over 50%, something like that. So anyway, yeah, you have lower highs there, lower lows. Cloud software has not put in like a good structure for lower highs, lower lows, or sorry, higher lows, because you just kind of rallied the last 4 or 5 days. But you do have a possible weekly higher low, and you retested that 200. So again, I see a lot of these hated like Wendy, or hey, everybody's all Wall Street bets are all going home about Wendy, right? Anything that's hated, anything that hasn't done well. XLP, is up big today, up 2%, right? Nobody likes stables right now. Even I don't. But yeah, transport's up a little bit. They were down earlier. They came back nicely by the end of the day. Another thing too, like, don't you think bonds would have gotten hit a lot harder? In fact, I think that DLT saying it's down, but okay, I guess it's flat. It was flat here at the long end, and the 2-year held the gains from the payroll report here. So that's not it's not like we're moving towards rate hikes here, right? XHB was down 7 cents, but you know, it held, back tested the support and held. Mention IYR up 1.25. That's, you know, poised to break out. I mean, I don't know what else you could say about banks here. XLF, it's, you know, the trend is up, right? KRE down, but, you know, again, save that engulfing. And okay, I lied. It wasn't a new weekly all-time closing. I just barely. So it was red on the week, but not by a ton. XBD, that might be a new all-time. Not close. Close there. But my point is, things that were hated rallied pretty well. Yeah. Well, let me look at the dollar here. So down 54 cents. Again, it came off the lows, but not by much. So again, it's not like the dollar really came back here. Oil did come off the lows. I'll call that a kiss of the 200. Even though it technically didn't hit, I'll call it that. And it closed at the highs of the day pretty much. So we'll see if it can get going next week. But I mean, it's effectively tagged this area, I would say, but it's not the greatest reaction either. Mostly it's close to a buy zone here. I don't know if that was enough to do it. It's definitely buried. I definitely wouldn't want to be short into the weekend. I mean, this is a powder keg waiting to happen, but like this has been divergent since here, right? So I mean, like this can go to 75 like nothing. And that could just be volatility, like a volatility bounce. XLE fractionally higher. POIH. Yeah, OIH. Again, that's a good sell signal here on that weekly that we talked about. All right. So I mentioned the dollar. Okay, what else was hated? Gold, right? It held the gains for once. I mean, it's not like it really, you know, it's still bidding up after hours here. But yeah, it's not like it had a huge gain. I mean, 1.3 is pretty good for gold, but you know, and it is going to close above. It looks like it's going to close above that red bar there. So that's a negate. That's a failed bear flag. But every day it's rallied. It fell off the highs here, except for today, really. And same goes for silver. It is off the highs a little bit, but you know, decent comeback. And still watching, you know, SILJ, GDX. They never made new lows. So again, gold worst quarter like in 20 years. Where's the leverage, right? Not just long leverage. Where's the short leverage? PL up 2%, PA up 3 3/4. Nothing great on that though. Copper kind of flat. That was all over the map. And you know, we touched on Bitcoin earlier, but you know, it had a really good day, like one of the better days in a while, in a down tape, and I don't think that's a coincidence. So it's still got its work cut out for it. I hate that Binance fake print there, but you know, see if it can follow through and get something going on in this. See what it does over the weekend. What I also thought was interesting, you know, still got the weekly divergence. It's like Solana. I told you guys, if it gets above 68, it's going to 80. There it is, 82, high of the day, 82.68. But yeah, Solana and ETH were up nicely today too. So I don't know if that adds anything, but we'll see what happens here on Monday. I'm very interested to see how this plays out. I would say on ES, probably don't want to see much lower than 74.20 on the downside. Did we get there? But we'll see what happens Monday. Maybe we'll crash. Anyways, I will wrap it up here. You guys take care. Don't forget to come find me on carnivoretrades.com. We got a sale going. Link is in my pinned tweet there. I'm getting on that. We're absolutely banking profits left and right. We'll see you guys all next week.